Well, I hope you guys are ready for this, but elites say the only way to stop illegal immigration is by forcing everyone onto digital IDs. Are you ready to give up your freedom for that? Watch this.
Breaking news now. Digital ID will be made law for all adults in an effort to tackle small boats. Downing Street believes that a mandatory ID card system will help stop illegal immigrants working. Let's bring in our political correspondent, Mari Aurora. Mari, what more do we know about this?
Yeah, well, Gareth, this is interesting because this is something that has been spoken about a lot. Tony Blair, for instance, has been talking about this for years and years, as
Tony
what he always
Blair
believed was one of the best ways to try and reduce illegal immigration. And
Tony Blair, by the way, was one of the people considered to replace, if not, is he actually replacing Klaus Schwab, or he was part of the WEF? I mean, Tony Blair and the WEF, he's very much involved. I'll look at what his link is, but just WEF. And here they are. You know, this is how they're going to get the conservatives on board with this, because it's the same people who are against illegal immigration tend to be the same people who are against digital IDs. But now they're saying, well, do you want to stop illegal immigration? We're going to have to give you a digital ID. Oh, and Tony Blair is the one that's really been leading the charge on this.
The ability for people to work illegally here in the UK. But Sky News understands that we will have an announcement, could be as soon as tomorrow, from the Prime Minister on these mandatory ID cards, an ID card system, the Brit card. And essentially what this will mean, it will be mandatory for all adults here in the UK. It will make it easier for employers and for landlords to make sure that those they are employing or renting, or to actually have the right legal immigration status here in the UK. They can do it using a smartphone app. It's also, according to the government, going to make it easier for people here in the UK to essentially prove their status or their ability to kind of qualify to be able to work here in the UK. And essentially, this is all about immigration. This is all about trying to tackle small boats crossings. We've had a lot of conversation about small boats and about other European countries, especially the French, who have been concerned with the kind of pull factors here in the UK in terms of being able to work in the black market, being able to work illegally here in the UK. We already know that France has an ID card system. They've had it for many, many years. And it's something that the UK has always resisted, partly because of questions around civil liberties and freedoms, but also because many governments in previous
Who needs that? Civil liberties and freedom.
times said they didn't think it was the best approach. Now, clearly, Keir Starmer has been persuaded of the benefits of a digital ID card system and has been persuaded that this might have a significant impact on small boats crossings. The question really, and this is always going to be the million-dollar question, is once this comes into play and once it is enforced, how much of an impact could it have on small boats crossings? And if it has a really significant impact on small boats crossings, and it really kind of starts to eradicate that pull factor for illegal migrants coming to the UK, because I think they can essentially make money on the side illegally, as opposed to somewhere like that in France, how much of an impact does that have? And if it doesn't have a huge impact, then of course there'll be sighs of disappointment, I think, from within the Labour Party.
Oh, there'll be sighs of disappointment because you just gave up your freedom for something that didn't even work. So they don't even know if it'll work. So what they're doing is they're saying, well, you want to stop illegal immigration, then give up your freedom and civil liberties. We're moving to a digital ID so we could track all of you and anything that you do. And in the next pandemic, by the way, we'll know whether or not you got the vaccine because it'll be added to your digital ID. You won't be able to fake that. You won't be able to fake anything, really. You won't be able to escape Big Brother watching you. But give this up. We think it'll work for illegal immigration. You're all really upset about that. So we think it'll work. And then lo and behold, when it doesn't, guess what? You still have that digital ID. So it's a win-win for the government. They're just using the illegal immigration as bait to get you to go along with giving up your freedoms and digital IDs. And I promise you this is happening in the UK. But I promise you this, if it works there, or even if it doesn't work, but if it's a good excuse to get people onto digital IDs, then that might be something we start seeing here in the United States as well. All under the guise of we've got to stop illegal immigration, or you know what they're going to say to us, we got to stop sex trafficking of minors, drug trafficking across the border, fentanyl across the border. So if we have digital IDs, we can prevent all of that. Just give up your freedom for safety. Every time. Every time. Never do they ever let a good crisis go to waste, do they? They always use a crisis. And right now the crisis is illegal immigration. They're using illegal immigration to get us to give up our civil liberties. Never mind the fact that most of the illegal immigrants are coming in from countries that, oh, the West is waging war, toppling regimes, staging coups. Maybe we should just stop that. Rather than forcing everybody to give up their civil liberties and move to a digital ID, maybe we should actually stop with all the wars that we're waging. The vast majority of the illegal immigrants coming into Europe are from Afghanistan. Syria is number one. Syria. Well, what's going on in Syria? Oh, well, we got rid of Assad and we added in the ISIS Al-Qaeda guy. So now ISIS and Al-Qaeda are in charge of Syria, and we didn't think people would flee. We didn't think that would maybe happen. So now you've got all these Syrians fleeing into Europe because they don't want to be led by the ISIS Al-Qaeda guy. The second highest number is coming from Afghanistan. Oh, I wonder what happened there. Libya was a big driver of illegal immigration for a long time. Mali, where there's ISIS and who created ISIS, they've got a flood of people going into Europe. So you got all these illegal immigrants coming in from areas that the United States has a large hand in creating the instability that has led to people fleeing their homes. And now they want to use this crisis that they created to get you to use to get you to have a digital ID. It's really brilliant. And that's the thing. They're very, very good at figuring out how to get to each of us. So they see that, especially during COVID, they see that conservatives were not interested in mask mandates, COVID vaccine mandates, or digital IDs, that Americans were very much, conservatives in particular across Europe and the United States, were against this. So these big think tanks figure out ways to get you to go along with giving them all of your doing what they would do under the liberals, and they do the same thing under the conservatives. I mean, look what's gone on in this administration under Trump. Now we've got Palantir getting all of our information. How in the hell did that happen? Oh, it was under the guise of cutting government waste. It was under the guise of streamlining. It was under the guise of Doge, right? So we're going to just streamline the government. We're going to cut all of this bureaucracy. A lot of conservatives championed that along, said, "Yay, yes, do that, do that." And then they surprise you with and that means we're going to hand Palantir all of our information so that everything can be streamlined into one place, and Palantir is going to handle it. So now they've got all of our data, one place, one company, but that's all in the name of cutting government waste and streamlining. And you went for it. And now they know that, well, how do we get them to go with digital IDs? They don't want to do digital IDs because they think that it's going to lead to tracking them during a pandemic. They didn't like that. We tried to introduce it during the pandemic. People weren't going for it. They fought against it. How are we going to get them to go along with it? Oh, I got a brilliant idea, says the guy paid millions of dollars by the think tank to figure this out. Oh, we'll just tell them that the way that we'll stop illegal immigration is through digital IDs, and everyone's going to go for it. Now, all these conservatives who were against it during the pandemic, now they're going to be for it because they're going to say, but Kim, we have to stop the smugglers. What about all the human trafficking? But Kim, what about all of the illegals that are here and ravaging our cities? But Kim, I'm going to hear this from conservatives. The very same conservatives who were against digital IDs during COVID are going to be championing digital IDs because we have to stop human trafficking. I mean, this is the clown world we're living in. And they have figured out, the elites with all the money, and they pay high-level strategists to figure out how to infiltrate your brain and how to get you to go along with something you weren't going along with yesterday, how to get you to go along with it today. And they figure it out. They map it out step by step, and they figure, how do we just appeal to conservatives on this? And if the liberals push back, then the next meeting they get together and they say, how do we get the liberals to go along with this? And they just do this back and forth until they get us all to go along with everything they want. And here we are now giving up all of our civil liberties. And then the one thing that we get in return is we don't have to take our shoes off anymore at the airport. So now we feel like we're winning. We're winning because we don't have to take our shoes off anymore at the airport. So see, the Patriot Act is being unraveled. We have to somehow recognize the game that is being played, and we have to work to stop that. We have to work to recognize the game and then say, I'm not falling for it. And the only way we really do that is by stop being, we just can't be so tribal. We can't be so team oriented, left, right, lefties, conservatives, crazy, they're fascists and fascists. They're both calling each other fascists, right? Fascists and Nazis and fascists and Nazis. We have to stop doing that because they use that in order to get us to go along with all of these measures. They use that partisan infighting. And we have to figure out a way to stop that. Oh, all right, guys. That is it for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. We'll be back with another great show tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Until then, have a great one. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. It is free for you to watch. Again, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, KimIversonShow.com. See you there.